In the quiet solitude of her apartment, Sarah found herself haunted by memories of a past she thought she'd left behind. A sudden message from Jenny, her once close childhood friend, shattered the silence. Sarah hesitated, her skepticism clashing with curiosity as she read Jenny's urgent plea. Her fingers trembled as she typed a reply, unwilling to be drawn into another of Jenny's ghost stories. But Jenny's reply was instant and chilling, a call to face what Sarah had long avoided. A knock at the door brought a manila envelope, her name etched in red ink, a beacon of the past calling her home. Inside, a photo of her childhood home appeared darker, the shadows twisted, urging her to return. With her pulse quickening, Sarah knew she had no choice but to confront the echoes of her past. Sarah drove through dark, winding streets, her heart pounding with every flicker of the headlights. The house was far worse than she remembered, an eerie mist surrounding it, its windows blackened with age and grime. As the gate creaked open, the house loomed like an open mouth, her heart racing at the sight. For a moment, Sarah wanted to turn back, but the photo and the message compelled her to go in. The air inside the house was thick with mildew and dust, each breath a reminder of its long-abandoned state. As the wooden floor creaked beneath her, the ceiling above let out the faintest groan, as if the house itself was alive. She called out into the oppressive silence, her voice echoing off the walls, searching for any sign of life. But only silence answered, until a door upstairs creaked open, snapping her attention upward. Without a second thought, Sarah ascended the stairs, drawn by an unseen force, her heart pounding with each step. The walls were lined with faded portraits, their eyes seeming to follow her every movement, as if alive with secrets. With each step, the air grew colder, wrapping around her like a shroud, urging her to turn back. Yet, driven by a need to uncover the truth, Sarah pressed on, her resolve unwavering amidst the mounting dread. At the end of the hallway stood a large, ornate mirror, its dark carvings framing a glass that seemed to ripple with distortions. Sarah approached the mirror, her own reflection twisted, like ripples disturbing the glass's surface. Suddenly, her reflection grinned back at her, a malicious, wicked grin that sent a chill down her spine. She pulled her hand back, trembling, her mind refusing to accept what her eyes were witnessing. Yet, when she looked away, her reflection remained frozen, its gaze fixed upon her. Soft whispers began to rise, echoing through the hall, growing louder with each passing second. Disembodied voices filled the space, emanating from the mirror, the walls, the very essence of the house itself. The whispers intensified, becoming frantic, pleading voices that overlapped in a desperate chorus. "You shouldn't have come. Leave now. It's too late," the voices cried, echoing through the walls. Heart pounding, Sarah turned to flee, but a sudden slam shut the door behind her, trapping her within. In the corner, a figure stood, obscured by shadows, a woman dressed in black, her face hidden. Desperate, Sarah shouted, hoping for a familiar face. "Jenny, is that you?" But as the woman stepped into the light, Sarah gasped in horror. This was no friend. The woman whispered, her voice a chilling echo, "You shouldn't have returned." Darkness enveloped Sarah as the house seemed to come alive, its walls groaning around her. As Sarah descended into the basement, the air grew thick with the stench of decay, and the house seemed to twist and bend around her. Among the scattered relics of the past, Sarah discovered an old journal, its pages covered in dust and age. Her breath caught in her throat as she flipped through the pages, each word a chilling whisper of the house's dark history. The house hungers for souls. It claims those who enter, consumes their fear, and keeps them forever within its walls. Built on blood, built on lies, and now it's too late. They are coming for me. They will come for her too. There is no escaping the house. Once it marks you, you are lost. The shadows will claim you, and you will never leave. The house pulsed with a dark and ancient energy, shadows creeping along the walls as if alive. Figures flickered in the corners of her vision, vanishing when she turned to look. Amidst the oppressive silence, Sarah heard Jenny's voice, weak and trembling, calling out. Urgency gripped her as she raced down the hallway, shadows looming ever closer, following the sound of Jenny's voice. She opened the door to where the mirror should have been, but instead, a shadowy figure stood, blocking her path. "You shouldn't have come back. You've already crossed the line. It's too late." The figure's voice echoed with finality. Suddenly, the shadows sprang to life, wrapping around Sarah, pulling her toward the figure. The room twisted and contorted as she screamed in terror, the darkness engulfing her. And so the house claimed another soul. Sarah's name was swallowed by the darkness, forgotten by time, just like all those who came before her. The house waits for the next soul to wander too close, to be consumed. The end.